knapsack on my back, my rifle on my shoulder. I'll march away to the firing line, kill that Yankee soldier. I'll kill that Yankee soldier. I'll march away to the firing line and kill that Yankee soldier. I'll bid farewell to my wife and child, farewell to my aged mother. I'll go and join in the bloody strife till this cruel war is over, till this cruel war is over.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's super offensive, TJ.
Wow.
Super offensive.
You picked the most offensive intro that I can think of.
You told me to.
No, I didn't. I said
Yes,
pick
you did.
some Civil War music.
That is Civil War music.
Yeah, but I didn't tell. I assumed you would have the fucking intelligence, TJ, to pick something from the North.
The North,
about killing that Southern soldier.
Kill that Confederate piece of shit.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, the show does take place in Louisiana, so.
Kill that hillbilly piece of shit.
Your rifle on your back.
Yeah, that's how we're supposed to think about that whole affair.
Yeah. Good stuff.
No, that's actually some good music though. I liked it. I was enjoying that.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
I thought it synced up. I thought it synced up pretty well.
Most things seem to.
Yeah, I know. Our intro has this weird ability to sync up with pretty much anything.
Yeah. I can't think of. I mean, like some songs have fit better than others, but I can't think of one that was totally like, oh, that doesn't.
The best one was the Canadian national anthem, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, like even though I hated the song, I'm like, wow, this is actually syncing up pretty well. Strangely.
I always thought if we actually had like a real rock intro, it would be it's that Monster Magnet song. I never want to work another day in my life. Oh, Power Trippin'.
I'm never gonna
Power Trippin', dude.
Another day in my life.
I wish that song was our intro song. I will say that.
Man, maybe we can call them and.
Yeah.
Hey, Monster Magnet, let us do that.
Yeah, let us have that song.
You bastards.
Maybe if we wait till like Monster Magnet guy dies. And then
Monster Magnet guy, please
we go to
die.
his like estate. We go to his estate and we're like, look, we liked Monster Magnet. We'd like to use this old song of his for the intro. We'll give you $500 for it.
Done.
Done
like,
and done.
Cha-ching. That's it.
That's it. That's all you got to do. So Monster Magnet guy, hurry up and die.
We'll offer him $500, TJ. We'll say, look, we'll give you 500 fucking bucks.
Cash on the barrelhead, Monster
Magnet.
Magnet.
Own this fucking song now.
It's like we wrote it.
We wrote the song. You're a fucking liar.
I mean, look, they ain't had a fucking hit in a while. I think they'll agree with us, man.
Dude, nah, but
Dave,
their estate will.
His name is Dave Windorf.
No, I don't actually wish any death on Dave Windorf.
No. I hope he fucking dies.
He's cool.
I hope
Dave Windorf
he
is cool,
fucking dies.
Wow.
The only Monster Magnet guy to have been in there the whole time. So whatever. So he's got they put out an album. Last album was like last year. It was called Mindfucker.
Mindfucker.
I don't know how many units it sold. It doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, so there's nothing to even look at.
I'm glad that they're out there still.
They're still out there fucking minds.
Fucking minds, yeah.
That's all you can hope for, man.
What was Monster Magnet's big hit again?
Space Lord,
yeah,
mother.
Yeah.
Space Lord, mother.
I think that was supposed to be Space Lord Motherfucker, but everybody knows it as Space Lord Mother because it was censored all through the 90s.
That's fucked up.
Everywhere you'd hear it.
Actually, even on the album, it's still Mother.
Is it really?
Yep.
That was Space Lord Motherfucker.
Nope.
Damn.
Nope. Only album they ever had to do anything in terms of commercial success.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Still only peaked at like number 97 on Billboard, but it did go gold. But, yeah.
I remember Monster Magnet.
It was good.
There's still people out there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They were pretty good. They got like a cult following, I think.
Yeah.
They do.
We got to listen to that new Monster Magnet joint and see how it is.
Yeah, let's check it out one of these days.
Yeah, dude, we're going to have to sit around and just listen to the whole album, Anthony Fantano style.
Yeah, and then we could be
it.
like,
Process
it's no
it.
good.
It sucks.
It's no damn good. It's not as good as the new Beyonce. Tell you that much.
9 out of 10 for that one.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
I'm Anthony Fantano. That's not what he sounds like, but it's what he sounds like in my mind.
Dude.
I'm Anthony Fantano, and I like everything that sucks, and I think everything that's good is bad.
That's pretty much true. I mean, sometimes...
That's his shtick, right?
Sometimes he calls bad that's actually bad, but pretty often he calls things that are pretty good bad.
The new Jay-Z album is transcendent. Trans-fucking-cendent.
I don't know that he has ever done that for
Boo.
any...
Boo.
No, dude. I kind of like watching Anthony Fantano just to see
I
how
found the
much
new
I disagree
Slipknot
with him.
album quite derivative, thank you.
Oh, yeah. He hates...
Highly derivative.
He hates Slipknot.
Anthony Fantano is a piece of shit.
Well,
Just gonna put it out there. I don't know. I like him all right as a person, but as a music reviewer, I fucking hate his guts. I really do.
I don't know. I can't hate him despite disagreeing with him.
Well, then I hate you too. You're garbage. Hate him with me, Paul.
I don't want to hate him.
Sing the hate song.
He's a nice dude.
Hate! Yeah, okay. I said I like him as a person.
Uh-huh.
As a human being, you know, like, if he was about to get hit by a bus and I could reach out and snatch him out of the way, I'd do it.
Sure.
But as far as his fucking reviews go, as far as his music criticism goes, I hate his fucking guts.
Okay.
And if only the music review part of him was in front of that bus, I'd let it smash his ass like a bug. That's how I feel, Paul.
Damn.
That's like saying that his life's work is dog shit to you.
Yep. It's true.
All right.
It's true.
He's through.
He's true. I actually think he's really good at, I think he's a good performer, a good video maker, and all that shit. I'm just fucking.
Oh, whatever.
Backpedal.
Don't try and backpedal.
But I really don't.
Backpedal.
I really don't agree with his music opinions.
Backpedal blowjob. Come on. Anthony.
I mean, seriously, guys.
He's brilliant. Anthony Fantano, you're fucking. Your terrible opinions turn me on.
Trying to fucking glide out of that one, huh, TJ?
Tell me everything that I like is shit. Oh yeah. Oh.
It's a glutton for punishment.
Thanks for that big load of terrible music opinions, Anthony. Oh, you're wrong about everything. Oh, yeah, shoot your wrong juice on my fat man titties. Oh, so wrong, so wrong.
Oh, man.
I still don't understand how you feel about Anthony Fantano, so I don't know.
It's a very mixed message.
I don't know.
It's a highly mixed message. It's very volatile.
You know, you can't dazzle him
Wow.
with brilliance, TJ.
Baffle him with bull.
And, on this day, you have succeeded, TJ.
I'm wrong about everything.
I'm wrong about it all. Here's a song for you to review, Anthony.
Maybe that's his shtick.
My name is
Have
Anthony
you thought about
Fantano.
it? Maybe he knows he's wrong
Wrong
about everything.
about everything.
But he just presents himself as if he isn't. He's been playing a character known as Anthony Fantano, who just listens to an album, really understands music, and then just has the opposite opinion of what's true, but conceals it as an actual thoughtful music review.
Oh,
It's his shtick, dude.
it's a good shtick. It's a useful shtick.
I can't think of anybody else that does something like that.
You're a shtick.
What?
You're a shtick, Paul.
I'm a shtick?
You're a shtick.
I think I have a shtick.
What is it?
Whatever. This thing I do where I yell.
What is the shtick?
Where I yell sometimes. and-
Explain the mechanisms
shtick.
whereby the shtick works.
Why don't you tell me? You watch the shtick.
Yeah. I never knew it was a shtick. I thought you were being genuine. I didn't know you were a phony.
Okay.
Oh,
I didn't know
shit.
you were a fucking
You
fucking
Let's
fucking
be real here,
you
TJ.
exposed Paul, dude.
Let's be honest.
exposed
you knew,
himself.
You know
He did.
for an absolute fact that I'm a phony. You know that
He's
for
a
a fucking
fucking
fact.
phony.
That's never
Well, look,
been.
I was a true believer until now.
I for one
contention.
talk to people on the internet and they agree with you. You're a phony.
right. The internet
Does anyone
knows.
else think that Paul is a simpering
I don't
fucking dope
look.
who's
I don't
wrong
want
about everything?
I don't want to mention the places where they said this, Paul, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what hive of scum and villainy.
Tell me all I need to know about you, Paul.
So anyway, let's talk about the reason. Let's talk about the reason behind this episode. First of all,
Poor planning, laziness.
poor planning, laziness, stupidity, indifference, apathy,
Yeah, which one of those? Take your
boredom.
pick. Take your pick.
wretchedly bad episode in store for you. No.
Oh God.
So, when I was a kid, I remember hearing for the first time, before I read Ayn Rand and went through my little, like, I'm a libertarian phase and all that shit.
Dude, I watched you during that time.
Yeah. So
you were like a little Ayn Rand soldier.
Yep. I was out there like, if only we let the free market, so you know
yeah,
the shtick.
TJ.
You know the shtick.
Yeah.
But before that, I was a little, like, liberal cuck boy. And
Not much has changed.
yeah, and I'm back to that now. That was my true self. I dabbled with the, like, maybe I'm a crazy libertarian. Nah, I'm okay. I'm just a liberal cuck. I'm a liberal cuck. It's fine. So, but before that, I remember when I heard, like, Lincoln was a Democrat, or I'm sorry, a Republican.
Yeah.
And the Democrats were the ones who were in favor of slavery.
The slave owners.
And it was a Democrat that started the Ku Klux Klan and all this other stuff.
Yes, sir.
And I went to my uncle with it because he was like, at the time to me, like, he's like the arch liberal that I get all my fucking, like, liberal
Right.
talking points from.
Pass
Uncle
your-
Guy,
The liberal sieve.
Uncle Guy, I heard all this stuff. He's like, that's before the party switched. That's before the party switched. Don't worry about that. Party switched. And I'm like, oh. And I just kind of, like,
good
proceeded
enough.
from there for a while. Like, that's good enough. Uncle Guy says they switched.
Dude, being a kid is awesome for that respect,
You know?
isn't it? Like,
You don't look into shit deeper. You're just like, party switched.
don't worry about it, kid. All right.
Yeah, there was like a trade at some point. Okay.
Right.
They switched.
They
At one
switched
point-
sides.
And, kind of just went with that for a while. And over time, my understanding got a little bit more nuanced and shit. I mean, I knew
But not much.
not that much, no. Not really.
Most people probably end right about there. Party switch.
Party switch at some point.
Yeah.
If you're a Republican, you say, no, they didn't. That's
Right.
about it. If you're a Democrat, yeah, they did. That's it. That's
Well,
the
of
whole
course,
argument,
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much, for most people. And, I learned a little bit more about it here and there over time, reading this political book or that article or this article or watching this thing or that thing, But I never really took a deep dive and, like, all right, let's fucking look into this whole party switch business. Because, I mean, like, if you think about it, the idea is that the party's just on a dime, just, like, switched. Like, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and Trump's like, Medicare for all. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's just implausible. So I looked into it, and we're going to take a look at what I learned about this fucking big party switch. Did it happen? What do you guys know about it? You guys know much about it?
I know the basic facts is that, like you said, at one point the Democratic Party was like the party of like the Southern Party, basically. They were for fucking slavery. They were pro-slavery. Like, I'm trying to think what else. I think they're for very limited government, right? Just shit like that. Like, they're basically like what the Republican talking points of today are. And at some point, I think it was about the 1870s or so, the party switched, something like that. No,
Much later than that.
Well, it was much later. Okay, so
Paul, what do you know? Anything?
I think that the party divide starts with the Civil War and ends with kind of like Reconstruction and that, and like Jim Crow, and that's kind of when the
like the 30s or
Swipper
40s?
Swapperoo happened.
So based on your guys' answers, neither of you know shit about this.
okay,
Right.
fair enough.
So let's go ahead and proceed.
Good to know.
Great. We're
Dude, I get
ignorant
to learn
I
on the
didn't either.
show.
I didn't either.
We're
To be honest
ignorant
with you, I didn't
motherfuckers.
know fucking shit.
Well, at least we know we don't know shit going into this.
Yep.
80% of what I'm about to tell you is shit I learned myself last night and today.
Cool.
Okay.
So, but I looked into it. I listened to different perspectives. I listened to the right-wing perspective. I
the
listened to the
expertise.
left-wing perspective. I listened to the centrist perspective. I listened to the raw historical fucking perspective with no sort of, hidden interest or whatever, at least to whatever extent that can be possible.
Right.
And here's what I figured out. So we're going to start off by looking at the major Republican talking point that this sort of conversation hinges on.
Okay.
This is a guy right here. This is a dude by the name of Dinesh D'Souza.
I hate looking up this dude's nose, and every time he shows up on my fucking feed,
It's this.
every picture of him is like a nostril cam at the doctor's office, but pulled way back.
Because he has a weak ass fucking chin, dude. Should zoom in on that chin.
Zoom in on that chin.
He's trying to give himself a fucking chin, man. He doesn't have one.
Let's do it.
Zoom in on that chin.
More?
Yeah, keep going.
I think that's as far as
That's
we'll
far
go.
we can
actually.
go. I mean, look at it, dude.
It looks like there might be a hillock there.
It's like a little bump.
Yeah, a little.
And then it's just like he has a face. You know, his face kind of starts melting in. Like he has like a baby chin. Like his chin never developed past the age of like 5 or something.
So
Oh, look at his nostrils. Too.
Oh,
this guy is a
trims his nose here though.
he's a propagandist. He's
Huckster
a
piece of shit.
filmmaker.
Not a filmmaker, yeah.
I mean, he is a filmmaker. You
I
can't-
mean,
you
yeah,
can't
I
take it
got-
away. He makes films.
I guess in a technical sense, he makes.
Dinesh D'Souza right here. His sole function in life pretty much is casting the Democrats as the arch villains to American history. He's
Let's
tied
be
them
honest about
to,
his function in life.
You know, making-
His function in life is to profit on the political war that's going on
Sure.
in this country.
but he's chosen
He's a
side.
political
He
war
knows-
profiteer.
He knows who he's selling to.
He
knows who he's
monetizes
selling
stupid
against.
opinions to stupid idiots that'll pay him for it.
So, in fairness to him, the Democrats have done a lot of things throughout history that make it pretty easy to say, okay, they're the villains. And we'll give you an example. This is Dinesh giving a speech. I don't know exactly where he's giving it. It's about 3 minutes long. We can interrupt it, but let's try to keep it to a minimum.
You know exactly where he's giving it, TJ.
In your ass, bitch. Okay, I gotta turn the volume back on. That'd be useful.
Starting in the 19th century, the idea began to develop that slavery is actually a positive good. Slavery is good, not only
gonna
for the
have to boost
master,
this a
it's good for the
little, 'cause-
slave. It's to his benefit. Who came up with that? If you begin to look at it closely, you realize that that
Any guesses?
Who came up with slavery? Democrats,
Who
dude.
came up with that?
The Democrats.
The Democrats, baby. You know they.
Probably some like fucking biblical society. Wasn't there slavery?
No.
Back
No,
in
no, no.
Democrats.
No, he's going to
Mesopotamians
explain
or-
this, though. He's going to explain it. Hold on. That's different. That's different, Paul. Check it out.
was an intellectual invention of the Democratic Party.
Of course.
The Democratic Party is the inventor of the idea of slavery as a positive good. Nowhere else in the world. There were slaves in ancient China and India and Greece and Rome, but most people defended slavery. Aristotle defends slavery as a function of necessity. Aristotle says there are some conditions in which you take people as captives in war, or there's dirty work to be done and there's got to be room for some people to do contemplation. So this is a regrettable necessity. But in the
Sure, that was a amazing. Sure, that was a comfort to the slaves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We have to make you a slave. It's how it is.
It's like, man, I'm so glad that I live in a society where they view this as a necessary evil instead of as a positive good. Which, by the way, because it's coming from the mouth of Dinesh D'Souza, who fucking knows if that's true? It's probably not.
I don't think.
There's only one mouth that spews more lies more consistently. And that is you know. You know the answer to that, TJ.
Scotty.
No. Even more lies than the mouth of Scotty.
Oh, shit.
It's pretty impressive.
I'm talking about the king of lies, whose mouth pours forth nothing but lies.
Satan? I don't know.
Well, basically, yeah. Rudolph Giuliani, TJ.
Well, he's not even good
How
at
quickly you forget the lie-spewing yellowed maw of Rudolph
that is true.
Giuliani.
Every time we've ever watched him in an interview or
Oh,
something,
it's just
like,
nonstop lying.
lie, 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 lie.
American South, you begin to have this idea of slavery as a
Like a
positive
fucking
good.
lying,
An invention of the Democratic Party.
Munchkin.
Hold up.
Now you might say, wait a minute, this was an invention of the South.
The
The South was the society that protected slavery. But then you have to explain why the Northern Democrats, led by Stephen Douglas, also
Yeah.
protected slavery.
Yeah.
And you have
To maintain their constituency?
Right.
to explain why in
Because
the South,
slavery
most
was a
people didn't
huge
own
part of
slaves.
the economy at that time.
Yeah. That seems like the explanation to me.
And 3/4 of people who fought on the Confederate side of the Civil War didn't own a single slave. They clearly weren't fighting for slavery.
That doesn't track. That doesn't track
They didn't
at
own
all.
slaves, therefore they weren't fighting for slavery.
That's like saying that because the Republicans can dupe some idiots into voting against their economic interests today, that means that they're not a corporatist party.
The foul, lie-spewing mouth of Dinesh
Not
D'Souza.
to
might have
mention,
been-
yeah, of course the land barons weren't off fucking fighting the war. No shit.
Look at this. He's probably Young America Foundation. He's probably sitting in front of a bunch of bubble-headed Republican kids going to a
Yeah.
conservative college somewhere
Democrats are evil.
who think this dude is just preaching the fucking wisdom of the gods to them.
Oh, yeah.
Fighting for something else, but it wasn't that. So right away, the intellectual plot, you might say, thickens. And I put this out recently. We put out a trailer for a movie, and I put it out on social media, and people go, well, Dinesh, we all know this ancient history. Don't keep repeating the antebellum sins of the Democratic Party. And I said, well, all right, but what about the postbellum sins of the Democratic Party?
Oh,
Let me
shit.
specify.
Oh, shit.
Check fucking mate.
After
Didn't
the
think
Civil-
about that, did you?
Check
Damn it.
motherfucking.
The Democrats didn't think about that one, did they? Okay, you know what? I won't talk about it. Let's talk about after, too. Talk about after the war. Huh?
But I thought we wouldn't talk about it. Thought all our sins was forgiven.
Oh, yeah.
A group of Democrats got together and decided,
I hope somebody
Let's
throws a
kill the
rotten
man who
tomato
did
at this dork at some
they
point.
They will.
Man, dude, this is like, remember,
Whoa.
there used to be a time in America where if you were standing at a podium spewing this, look at this look on his face. He knows he's spewing bullshit.
Of course he does.
Somebody would be out there with a bag of nasty old mushy tomatoes, and you'd get one.
Let's take a look at basically the same talking points coming from a different source within the conservative camp.
Okay.
This is The Inconvenient Truth About the Democratic Party by PragerU.
Oh boy.
It's been a while, Prager.
When you think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party comes to mind? The Republicans or the Democrats? Most people would probably say the Democrats,
I think most people would probably say whatever party they align with, honestly.
Yeah.
but this answer is incorrect. Since its founding in 1829, the Democratic Party has fought against every major civil rights initiative and has a long history of discrimination. The Democratic Party defended slavery, started the Civil War, opposed Reconstruction, founded the Ku Klux Klan, imposed segregation, perpetrated lynchings, and fought against the Civil Rights Acts of the 1950s and 1960s. In contrast, the Republican Party was founded in 1854 as an anti-slavery party.
Wow.
Its mission was to stop the spread of slavery into the new Western territories with the aim of abolishing it entirely. This effort, however, was dealt a major blow by the Supreme Court in the 1857 case Dred Scott versus Sandford. The court ruled that slaves aren't citizens, they're property. The 7 justices who voted in favor of slavery,
Democrats.
all Democrats. The 2 justices who dissented,
Republicans.
both Republicans.
Oh,
The slavery
shit.
question was, of course, ultimately resolved by a bloody civil war. The commander-in-chief during that war was the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Abraham von Jesus.
Look at that, guys. The first Republican fucking president, Abraham Lincoln. I mean, dude, this is a fucking open and shut case, TJ.
I have no rebuttal to this.
I mean, what do you have? They have fucking Abraham
They
Lincoln,
have
dude.
Abe.
Honest.
Honest Abe.
I mean, thus far, nothing she's saying is overtly a factual distortion.
Well, no. Here's what lies in fucking question for me. What does this have to do with the current day?
not much. Well, maybe a little in
The
terms
basis
of, like,
of that party, Paul. The foundation of that party.
Right. But what does this have to do with how I'm supposed to perceive these political parties now?
Yeah, because, I mean, it certainly ain't the party of Lincoln at this point. You know,
Not even close.
the social issues that existed at this point in American history clearly are not the predominant ones we're discussing today.
Well, definitely not.
And then at some point during the 1980s, the world became a giant corporate nightmare. and neither one of these parties had any ideals at all. Now you get corporate or corporate. Which flavor of corporate do you like? Gray gruel flavored corporate or green goo flavored corporate? Sip up your corporate. You know, where's that going to be in this timeline? Nowhere?
Nowhere.
The man who freed the slaves. 6 days after the Confederate Army surrendered, John Wilkes Booth, a Democrat, assassinated
Oh,
President
shit.
Lincoln.
Democrat
The
piece of
fucking
shit.
Lincoln's
Democrats
vice
murdered
president,
fucking Lincoln.
A Democrat named Andrew Johnson
Oh, fuck.
assumed the presidency. But Johnson adamantly
Didn't even have a fucking face.
opposed Lincoln's plan to integrate the newly freed slaves into the South's economic and social order. Johnson and the Democratic Party were unified in their opposition to the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, the 14th Amendment, which gave blacks citizenship, and the 15th Amendment, which gave blacks the vote. All three passed only because of universal Republican support. During the era of Reconstruction, federal troops stationed in the South helped secure rights for the newly freed slaves. Hundreds of black men were elected to Southern state legislatures as Republicans, and 22 black Republicans served in the U.S. Congress by 1900. The Democrats did not elect a black man to Congress until 1935.
Oh, shit,
But
guys.
after Reconstruction ended, when the federal troops went home, Democrats roared back into power in the South. They quickly reestablished white supremacy across the region with measures like black codes, laws that restricted the ability of blacks to own property and run businesses, and they imposed poll taxes and literacy tests used.
I took one of those literacy tests in a video once,
I remember that.
and they were they were a nightmare. It was like totally nuts. And there's really no way to pass the test. You can, whatever answers you put, there's different ways to interpret the answer.
Yeah, so
so
you're
they
fucked.
can basically, no matter what you answer, they can mark it as wrong.
Yep, that's wrong.
Wrong.
That's wrong.
Wrong.
Sorry, you can't vote.
Skin black. Wrong.
Not to mention, at this time, women had no right to vote either. So, it's just like, okay.
To subvert black citizens' right to vote. And how was all of this enforced? By terror.
Terror.
Much of it instigated by the
Terror.
Ku Klux Klan, founded by a Democrat,
Yep.
Nathan Bedford Forrest.
Democrats.
As historian Eric Foner, himself a
Democrats.
Democrat, notes, in effect, the Klan was a military force serving the interests of the Democratic Party.
Wow.
President Woodrow Wilson, a Democrat, shared
All right. So basically, the Democrats are evil, and
Have been forever.
Right. They're
every
the racist
bad thing
ones.
that happened to black people was all Democrats. blah, 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 blah.
1829, TJ, to 2019, the party of evil.
So, yeah, I mean, and look, there's not a lot of factually wrong, but this video, if we watch the whole thing, is going to kind of start to, it kind of stops right around the fucking early 60s.
Right.
There's a reason for that. So let's ask ourselves, first of all, who's winning the whole premise of the Civil War is the South wants to secede, right?
Yes.
Right.
So this is about the South. So let's take a look at every fucking election map in goddamn U.S. history. All right?
Okay.
So we don't really need to pay too much attention to these, ones that were before the kind of Civil War era. But you see here, Democratic fucking stronghold in the South, pretty much throughout these fucking time periods.
Right.
From there's a little bit of mix here, but by the time you get to like the 1870s, it's starting to go solid Democrat. It's staying solid Democrat for fucking ever.
Oh, yeah. Let me
Just
look at
like-
that. Democrat. Yeah, it's just entirely.
So here's some Republican wins. Democrat.
Dude, look at
Democrat,
1936.
Democrat.
And 32.
We're going to talk about those years.
Those are
in a little
FDR
bit here.
years,
Those
yeah.
are FDR years. So there's this pretty much from the Civil War era on, the South solidly Democrat. All right?
Right.
And what is it today?
Oh, it's all like Republicans.
Solidly Republican.
100%.
Across the board, has been pretty much. Last time you really saw any sort of major inroads for Democrats in the South was 96. And even then, most of the South still red.
I mean, Bill Clinton fucking won Louisiana.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Bill Clinton made some inroads in the South because he was a Southern governor. You also see there's this year, 1976, when Jimmy Carter was able to actually carry the South. But other than that, it's been pretty solidly red.
I mean, that is a hell of an accomplishment because look at 1972. That's an insane election.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And we're going to talk about quite a few of those election years as we go on. But the important thing to note is that during the Civil War era, up to around 1964, 68. Around there, the South was solidly Democrat. Now, ever since 1964, 68, it's been pretty fucking solidly Republican, with a few little exceptions here for Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton, both of whom were Southern governors.
And in 2008 and 2012, Obama won Florida.
Right.
So
Florida, yeah. Florida's kind of a swing state in the South, but the rest of it,
not Texas.
not so much.
Not Louisiana, boy, or Mississippi.
Yeah, Louisiana, other than under Bill Clinton, has never really been too much at play. I guess under Carter, too. Carter pretty much swept the South. Carter won every Confederate state except for Virginia, which is probably now the most Democrat-leaning of the southern states, strangely enough. So it just goes to show you, things are wonky. Another thing is, obviously, this has a lot to do with the Confederacy. So which party in recent years has been more likely to defend the Confederate flag? I think we know the answer to that. Let's take a look at this.
Governor Bush.
Oh, I want you to not only pay attention to the fact that Bush is about to defend the Confederate flag, I also want you to pay attention to how he does it. Because he's not going to come right out and say, I love the Confederate flag. He's going to use a very different strategy. Check it out.
Governor Bush, a few blocks from here, on top of the state capitol building, the Confederate flag flies with the state flag and the U.S. flag. It is, as you can hear from the reaction of tonight's crowd of 3,000 people from South Carolina, a hot-button issue here. The question is, does the flag offend you personally?
The answer to your question is, and what you're trying to get me to do is to express the will of the people of South Carolina. Is what you're trying to get me to do.
No, I'm asking you about your personal
feelings. The people of South Carolina. Brian, I believe the people of South Carolina can figure out what to do with this flag issue. It's the people of South Carolina's decision.
Oh my God!
I don't believe it's the role of someone from outside South Carolina and someone running for president to come into this state and tell the people of South Carolina what to do with their business when it comes to the flag.
As an American citizen, do you have a visceral reaction to seeing the Confederate flag?
As an American citizen, I trust the people of South Carolina to make the decision for South Carolina.
Wow, what a nothing answer.
What a fucking, that's the most pandering answer you could possibly give. The people of this great state should be the ones to decide. Who am I? If I'm the president, to come in and tell them what to do. I'm just the president.
You want to know what the best thing
What?
about watching this is? I hate both sides of it. I hate that you're supposed to have some kind of visceral reaction to the flag, and so we want him to vamp through faking that. And then I hate his stupid pandering defense of it. It's just such a waste of fucking time and energy. Good old campaign 2000, man.
Yep. And so you'll notice that he kind of defers to the states' rights position there. He doesn't want to come out and say anything about any sort of personal feelings he might have one way or the other towards the flag. I suspect he doesn't really give a shit.
Probably.
But he doesn't want to come out and say I'm against it. He doesn't want to come out and say I'm for it. What he's for is the will of the people, the fine people,
Yes.
South Carolina.
Of course. Whose votes he
Needs.
and got.
Yeah. So in fairness to our conservative friends out there, it doesn't really seem like there's too much defense of the Confederate flag going on in mainstream Republican Party today. Mitt Romney and Jeb Bush both said unkind things about it. Romney said it was divisive. Jeb Bush, your favorite, Paul?
Yeah, Jeb.
Jeb actually overtly said it's a symbol of racism.
Damn. Look at Jeb.
Yeah, even Trump, who is supposedly the most racist man ever walked the face of the earth, had this to
racist.
say about the Confederate flag in a very brief but direct answer to the question about it.
Okay, cool.
You're the lone Republican presidential candidate who has yet to weigh in on whether or not you think the Confederate flag should be flying above the State House in South Carolina. Do you think it needs to go?
I think it probably does, and I think they should put it in the museum, let it go, respect whatever it is that you have to respect because it was a point in time, and put it in a museum. But I would take it down, yes.
Okay, well, there you go.
All right.
Pretty cut and dry.
That is. That's actually.
I mean, about as cut and dry as you get from Trump.
Yeah. Just put it in a museum.
Respect what you need to respect and put the respect in the museum, whatever.
Whatever, the museum.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck.
It's the museum. What you gonna do?
Yeah, it's just kind of a way to like kind of sidestep and be like, look, honor the heritage of it, but yeah, just take it down. It's probably a little antiquated at this point.
Take it down. I'd take
Whatever.
it down. Fuck it. I don't like it.
The war's been fought. It's over with. Let's move on with our lives. Come on, people.
So Donald Trump, on the other hand, doesn't really feel the same way about the Confederate statues.
Okay.
So let's take a little brief
Gotta
look
defend those.
at that shit.
Earlier this week, an unapologetic Donald Trump.
Trump just looks lost.
An
perpetually.
unapologetic Donald Trump, as opposed to what?
Yeah, super apologetic Trump came out today.
A super apologetic
Look, guys,
Trump.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Never seen that one.
Here to offer support to racists who attended a weekend rally in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Not all of those people were neo-Nazis, believe me. Not all of those people were white supremacists by any stretch.
Trump doubled down on Thursday, again showing support for one of the major causes of the white supremacist movement. Sad to see the history and culture of our great country being ripped apart with the removal of our beautiful statues and monuments, Trump tweeted. You can't change history, but you can learn from it. Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson. Who's next? Washington? Jefferson? So foolish. Also, the beauty that is being taken out of our cities, towns, and parks will be greatly missed
why is this
and
shocking
never
that
able
Trump would
to be
tweet this?
comparably replaced.
It's not.
I mean, it's not at all. I mean, like, Trump is just pandering to people that have those feelings. He's done it the entire time. He's been running for political office since he announced. He's been this has been play by the numbers for
I just
Trump.
think what's interesting to me about it is who he's pandering to. It's interesting to me that he, the Republican,
Right.
the party that likes to be like, we're the party of Lincoln, and the Democrats did all this Civil War shit, and that wasn't us, that was them. They're now the ones like, we tear down our Confederate What?
Can't let that happen.
What? And up until very recently, they were the same about the Confederate flag. And obviously, they've made themselves the friend of the South and the interests of the South. And one thing that you know if you've lived in the South as we have and we do is that not everyone has let the whole the wounds of the Civil War somehow still not healed.
No.
Still see
South will rise again.
still see Confederate flags, still see Confederate stickers, still see people saying the South will rise again and using that as a slogan, and still it's been fucking how long now? It was the 1870s, right?
Was it 1861 to 1865?
Right. So it's been forever. It's been way over 100 years at this point, and somehow it's still fucking
Still
fresh
arguing
wound.
about it.
But now the party that was once the enemy, the great persecutor of the freedom of the great southern states, now they're the ones who champion the Confederate monuments. Now they're the ones who say, this is a rich part of our important history.
Well, look, TJ, the Democrats want to destroy your heritage, boy. They want to tear down that statue from that part.
So here's some extended Trump remarks from a speech about this issue.
Excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in
I saw
that
them
group
better than you.
that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. No, George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Are we going to take down? Excuse me. Are we going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him? Okay, good. Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. Now we're going to take down his statue. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and
good
white
people that were there.
nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly.
So I should probably point out that I don't really disagree with Trump on this issue. It strikes me, a lot of it, as people trying to apply a lot of modern-day politics and modern-day notions of morality onto people from the past, which I don't necessarily universally oppose, but I kind of tend to oppose it.
And this has happened throughout the Western world. I mean, I've
Right.
heard about protests in London and Paris and other places of people doing this. It's just like, look, these people from 300 years ago that have a statue was a piece of shit. Take the statue down. We shouldn't be promoting people like that.
It's an excuse. It's an excuse to sweep away responsibility for the actual wounds that are there by blaming it on the statues. So, yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, the statues ain't doing shit to you.
The statue isn't like some idol from which all racism emanates and infects the minds of the people that live near it.
Exactly. But let's just think about this from a perspective. We're all private citizens, and we all have an opinion about this. And I imagine most of us probably don't have a very strong opinion about this one way or the other.
I really don't.
It's a statue. So, but he's a politician, and he obviously has a base. So we have to look at his context a little differently than we look at our own. And so we have to ask, like, when he opposes taking down these statues, is he doing that on some deeper set of principles, or is he just pandering to a demographic? I don't know for sure, but I have a strong suspicion that he's pandering to a demographic.
I would say it's almost
You'll have to
certain.
decide that for yourselves. Let's take a look.
I mean, isn't it obvious he's pandering to a demographic? Is it really up to the fucking... Of course he is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know for sure. I have strong
think
suspicions.
about this. He wants
you
to
can
win.
remain as agnostic as you want.
He
But
wants to
everything
win
that
those
I've heard out of
states.
this dude's fucking mouth is pandering to the stupid fucking bobbleheads that vote for him. And I don't see any reason why that dumbass remark he just made has any fucking difference. He would take the opposite position if the people that he needed to vote for him had the opposite position.
You're probably right about that.
So it's not a...
I
It's,
completely agree.
So let's look now at the history of black people and party loyalty. How did black people go from being freed from slavery by Republicans in the Civil War
Like, well, we watched that video.
to voting, like 90%
They became
Democrat?
a large part of the Republican Party themselves as representatives.
So they were the first crop of black politicians were all Republicans. Obviously, the Republicans enjoyed the black vote in the immediate aftermath of the Civil War.
Of course.
But now, black people are 90% Democrat, 70% Democrat, 80% Democrat. It hasn't even been close.
I mean, when Obama was running, I think it was 96% of blacks
It was
voted
crazy.
for Obama.
It was crazy.
I mean, it's not surprising, really, when you think about
that
it.
doesn't necessarily mean they were Democrats, though.
Well, the blacks
I
have...
can imagine a lot of black people, even if they leaned more Republican and believed,
Sure.
Oh,
probably
sure. I
were
mean,
like,
but
fuck
there
this,
was-
I'm getting a
There was
president.
definitely a lot of
I mean,
crossover in
right.
independence.
But even for Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, I don't think since Barry Goldwater there's been, I'm not sure exactly when. It's been a very long time though since any Republican candidate enjoyed a large margin of black support. It's been pretty much forever. Not in
Dude,
our lifetimes.
Are you forgetting Dr. Ben, what's his name, dude? Ben Carson had
Yeah. I'm talking about
monumental black support.
Did he?
Don't you remember?
Did he? I don't think he did.
Monumental, TJ. No, I'm kidding.
So
Nobody liked
this
him.
phenomenon is called Party Realignment, and it's a process that actually began to take shape in the 1920s.
Okay.
Republicans, black voters at the time were kind of pissed at the Republican Party because they you freed us from servitude in the Civil War.
But we're still second
But
class citizens.
here it is, the 1920s, and we don't feel like you're aggressively pursuing the civil rights agenda that we the black voters want you to.
Right.
Meanwhile, the Northern Democrats were starting to make shallow attempts to appeal to black voters. Not big sweeping things because they don't want to alienate their Southern Democrat people that they need for their constituency.
Right.
But Northern Democrats are like, maybe we can try to make some sort of half-hearted appeal to black voters.
It's kind of like the Donald Trump throwing rolls of toilet paper at the hurricane victims.
Right. Or
Kinda,
trying to do
yeah.
his prison reform stuff.
Or his, little rainbow flag thing he did. He's like, look,
Right.
I'm going to hug the rainbow flag.
Right.
Come
So
on, vote
it's
for
like
me.
a little. The Northern Democrats started doing little tokenistic gestures towards black voters. It's like, maybe we can get some
what's
of these.
actually really interesting is how, because Trump has raised so much money, because he filed for election day one of becoming president, he actually is putting into play, like he's actually going to heavily campaign in New Mexico, which is kind of swung way more Democratic as of late. Nevada, so Trump is actually targeting, like, kind of using the same strategy you're talking about even now, trying to make inroads in these states where everyone's like, oh, they're just Democratic states.
Well, he knows he knows he's not going to pull off the trick in the Rust Belt again, so he's got to try to do something else. Southern Democrats were not obviously trying to do anything to appeal to black voters. They were trying to oppress black voters, and any sort of measure to please black voters would have lost them white voters.
Right. Yes.
But Northern Democrats were in a little bit safer of a position to kind of be like, maybe we'll do some things for black people. I don't know. Maybe.
Couldn't really hurt, could it?
Couldn't hurt. So things really started to change more in the 30s. So the 1932 presidential contest between incumbent President Herbert Hoover, who was not super well liked
Very
by that point,
unpopular president.
and Franklin Delano Roosevelt was
Delano, TJ.
Delano.
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 Delano. I like that. Delano.
It's kind of a turning point. So during his first term, Hoover had tried to ingratiate himself with Southern segregationists, and his administration had failed to implement economic policies to help African Americans laid low by the Great Depression.
Or working class families at all either.
Despite the fact that he had kind of played nice with the segregationists and that he was kind of not really helping African Americans out much, Hoover still received about 2/3 and 3/4, or between 2/3 and 3/4 of black votes in northern urban wards. Most black voters sided with Republicans at that time, less out of loyalty to Republicans, but because they didn't really want to support a Democrat.
Okay.
And FDR really wasn't super hardcore courting them. He'd been very evasive about race during his campaign. He'd chosen a running mate that wasn't seen as super progressive on racial issues, House Speaker John Nance Gardner of Texas. But this is actually okay. So this guy is this guy's an elected politician. He's a Republican in the 1930s. This is John R. Lynch, who he was representative in Mississippi in the House during and after Reconstruction. He summed up the sentiments of older black voters and upper middle class professionals. The colored voters cannot help but feel that in voting the Democrat ticket in national elections, they will be voting to give away their endorsement and their approval to every wrong of which they are victims, every right of which they are deprived, and every injustice of which they suffer. So he's basically saying, black people they can't bring themselves
Yeah, why
to
would
vote
they?
for Democrats.
Yeah, it doesn't make
They
much
feel
sense.
victimized by Democrats. They feel like the Democrats are their enemies.
Right.
However, FDR was a super fucking popular president. And since blacks were disproportionately affected by the poverty of the Great Depression, they also benefited by FDR's New Deal policies, just as all Americans were, which is why FDR won 4 consecutive elections in huge landslide victories.
Right.
He was beloved by the people to an extent that's never really existed since, with the possible exception of Ronald Reagan, who also won similar landslide victories. It's actually a bit difficult to kind of imagine these days the sort of landslide victories we're talking about.
Yeah, it is.
Because, we now think of our country as being so irrevocably divided between these two parties, with each of them kind of It's like every election, in our recent memories has been a nail biter to some extent or another.
I mean, there have been if you look at it throughout our history, there's been very few elections that are like that. I mean, like maybe you can say like the beginning of our country, we have George Washington, he's the first president, but then it already starts getting deeply divided the further down the line you go.
So, as a result of that, in this election here, the election of 1936, these black voters who just 4 years earlier had actually turned out more to vote for Hoover. Only 28% of the African Americans nationally voted for Alf Landon here.
I wonder why.
Alf.
Which is less than half the number that voted for Hoover just 4 years before. So this is a major sort of shift moment in how black voters vote. They're like, you know what? FDR is fucking awesome. We're going to vote for FDR. We're going to be part of that wave. So let's take a look at a chart of black voter affiliation over the years here. This kind of tracks how they identified between 1936 and 2012. And you can see, in the 30s and 40s is pretty even,
Right.
There wasn't this huge disparity. There wasn't, there was a very 40-something% Republican, 40-something% Democrat, and a handful of independents. But over time, you see there in the 40s and even kind of beginning in the 30s there,
huge shift.
They start to lose control. You see a huge jump here around 48 or so.
Yeah, 48. Well, 52 is when you see
So 48 and 52 right here around this time, you see this big old jump where a bunch of these black voters are starting to vote Democrat.
Right.
And the reason for that is because Harry Truman, who was a Democrat, started to make an explicit appeal for new civil rights measures from Congress. So basically, the Republicans who had once enjoyed loyalty from black constituents were now kind of like, we don't want to do this whole civil rights thing that you guys keep trying to push us to do. So the Democrats are like, fuck it, we need the votes, we'll do it. And Harry Truman was kind of the first major figure to be like, all right, we're going to do all this, we're going to do some civil rights stuff like you guys want. And you see that big sharp spike. Oh, we're going to vote for you then. Kind of tapers off, and then you see this next huge spike around 64 to 68 and shit, where you get a huge, gigantic surge of support from the black community to Democrats. And that is because of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Its passage in July of that year was the culmination of a long political struggle that played out on Capitol Hill.
Okay.
And when he signed the bill, President Lyndon Johnson reportedly said that Democrats would, as a result, lose the South for a generation. So let's take a look at the aftermath of those elections. So 1964 Civil Rights Act passes. So that was an election year. And you see here that for the first time in a long, long, long time, maybe for the first time ever, actually, the South starts to turn red. In fact, they turn red. The rest of the country is still blue, with the exception of Arizona.
Yeah, so that is the Southwest, but yeah.
Right. But the only states that are like, we're going Republican this time around are the southern states. Everyone else is like, whatever, we're Democrats.
The Deep South, boy.
So the Deep South, which had been, up until that point, solidly voting for Democrats, was now starting to flip to Republican. So let's take a look at the next election year, because that one's really interesting. So you might be wondering, what the fuck is this big splotch of yellow?
Yeah, mustard yellow.
What's this yellow shit? What's that about?
It's yellow, let it mellow, TJ.
And Texas is blue. That's definitely strange.
That is strange.
But you see, the Republicans obviously won this year. Nice big, this Richard Nixon. beating out Hubert H. Humphrey, Triple H.
Wow.
Damn.
But the South didn't really go for either. Well, some of them went Republican, but a lot of the South went yellow for the American Independence Party, led by George Wallace. So,
wasn't he the guy that stood on the steps? He was a governor, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
the college campus. Yeah, he was like.
George Wallace was a Democratic governor from Alabama, but after the Civil Rights Act of '64, he became an independent. And you can see that he did well in the South because basically he figured, the South is not going to want to vote Republican because that's our traditional enemy. But obviously they're not going to want to vote Democrat when the Democrats have embraced all this, civil rights bullshit.
Right.
So I'm going to run as an American Independent Party, which basically, I'm going to run as an old school Democrat. Because the Democrats have lost their way, so I'm going to represent the true Democrat positions of the past.
Right.
And he was not a nice guy. Here's a little speech from him so you can kind of get a feel.
Today, I have stood where once Jefferson Davis stood and took an oath to my people. It is very appropriate.
Notice the Jefferson Davis reference there.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah, it's like Jefferson Davis, the great Jefferson
Looks like
Davis,
he has
president of the Confederacy.
Yeah, it looks like he's looking down at a Confederate flag right now. So
He is.
Yeah.
So that's where he is.
That from this cradle of the Confederacy, this very heart of the great Anglo-Saxon Southland, that today we sound the drum for freedom, as have our generation of forebears before us done, time and again down through history. Let us rise to the call of freedom-loving blood that is in us and send our answer to the tyranny that clanks its chains upon the South. In the name of the greatest people that have ever trod this earth, I draw the line in the dust and toss the gauntlet before the feet of tyranny, and I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
Popular message. Down there in
very
Alabama.
popular Alabama
Keep 'em
message.
separate.
And I love how he makes this big spectacle of he's the victim,
Right. Tyranny.
It's
It's tyranny.
Yeah, it's the tyranny. They won't let us oppress people. Well, that's tyranny against us, basically.
Right.
Of course.
So he was a big states' rights guy. You remember Bush's talking point from earlier about the Confederate flag? It basically had its genesis, well, probably before here, but this was another great example of it. You don't hear him doing it in this particular section of the speech, but if you listen to this whole speech, a lot of it hinges on the idea of states' rights, and we as this state of Alabama have the right to self-determine and all this stuff.
Well, it's it's actually, of course, in response to the federal laws they were passing. And so it's like, okay, shit, so now we have to listen to these laws.
Right. So basically, their way out of it is to say, well, this should be states' rights. If we want to discriminate against black people, we should have every right to do that.
That's our God-given right.
That's our right. And not only that, it's our freedom. It's
Right.
we have the freedom to subjugate those who we want to view as second-class citizens. So, and he actually talks about it at some point as like a boot at the throat of Alabama and chains around the South. Like, what the fuck?
Of course.
A
Like,
boot?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, they're boots at our throat, and they're trying to keep the South in chains, like they're the pro-freedom ones or something.
Right.
I love a bunch of fucking racists going, oh, man, they're trying to keep us in chains, and that's what you want to do to the other people.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, basically preventing them from oppressing other people is oppressing them.
Yes.
Yes.
So, retarded logic, he's a piece of
Well,
shit.
we hear it all the time from Christians, how they're being discriminated against. If you challenge a Christian in anything, then it's discrimination immediately. You won't want to hear our point of view. You're trying to stifle our culture and our rights, trying to take away our religious freedom.
So, let's go ahead and take yet another quick look. And I want you to remember the states' rights argument because it's so fucking important. It's like a major hinge on which a lot of shit turns. Let's go ahead and take a look once again at our different election years here. So we can kind of here's 64, the year that the Democratic stranglehold on the South breaks. Here's 68 when Wallace makes his little independent party splash. After that, it goes red, They turn Republican. Then they kind of flirt back with being Democrats under Jimmy Carter, who was a Southern governor. Then they go back to red, and it stays red pretty much until 92, when a few states flip for Clinton. And then it goes red again, and it pretty much stays red with the exception of Florida, which kind of flip-flops here and there. So with the exception of Clinton making some inroads into the South and Jimmy Carter strangely just doing super well in the South, other than that, it's been pretty much since the Civil Rights Act a Republican fucking stronghold. They've ruled it with an iron fucking grip.
Right.
So, and it's...
So is that the cause, do you think?
It seems like that the Civil Rights Act of 64 does seem to be the tipping point. Where obviously there was precursors to it. It wasn't like it happened overnight. Demographics had been shifting since the 30s. But in 64, it seems like what had traditionally been a strong Southern Democrat South broke, and the Republicans started doing it. The Republicans got their fucking mitts on
Well, you could
it.
even see it from politicians in this state back in the day. It was like, there's like some old school politicians. They were like, there's like, oh, he's a Democrat, but he's like, but they had to explain to people like, well, he's like
a Southern Democrat.
He was basically like an old school Democrat. So he still runs as one, but he's really, he's Republican, is what they're saying.
Right. So obviously the South doesn't vote exclusively on racial issues, so we can't be overly simplistic with that. There's obviously guns are a big deal.
Well,
abortion's
the election
a big
happening
deal,
around here.
Social conservative issues are a big deal.
It's been
religious issues are a big deal.
Yeah, a host of other reprehensible nonsense is a big deal.
Yes. Exactly.
Well, here a lot of people run around here because obviously in this area is very Republican where we live, and it's basically like I'm a real conservative. Because like it's usually R versus R here. It's not R versus D. It's who's the bigger conservative.
Like even right now we have a governor that's technically a D, but he's really an R.
Yeah, he's an R.
He's basically the only difference he has between him and any other. He's a pro-life guy.
Yes.
So he's not got that. He's
pro-military.
pro-guns.
Yep.
Pro-military.
Pro-everything.
The only thing that he's kind of to the fucking supposed left on is that he's slightly to the left of most Republicans.
Well,
on
he
like,
said he would do the Medicaid,
Yeah.
Obamacare expansion, and the Republican who was running, I think it was David Vitter, was like, we won't do that.
Yeah, and people in Louisiana were like, we kind of want that. Even
Yeah.
though we talk endless shit about Obamacare, we
Yeah,
kind of
go ahead and
want
give it to us.
So give it to us. Thanks. So that's about it. So let's take a look. It's probably about time now we've got enough background information to take a look at the Southern strategy. So there's an old acquaintance of mine used to be on this network with me. It was a Maker division of like Maker networks. It's called Polypop.
Yep.
And there was a dude on there with me called Hip Hughes, who's like an educator and a history
Oh,
buff.
yeah, I remember that guy.
And he actually made a pretty reasonably succinct video on the Southern strategy as a topic. And it shines light on a lot of what we've talked about so far, but kind of lays it out a little bit more in detail. His original video was 11 minutes, but I've actually cut it down to about 6.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and take a quick look at that. It's kind of on the loud side.
Hey guys, welcome to Hip Hughes History, as we're going to have a little bit...
You know what? I think this is the 11-minute version.
Damn you, TJ.
So hold on, let me
Good job, TJ.
Let me go get the actual file I want really quick.
TJ's employing the Southern strategy
The
right
Southern strategy. Laziness.
Dude, it's so hard not to criticize you, TJ. It's so hard not to fucking
So
be
hot.
critical.
I never said you couldn't.
Yeah, you
It's
did
so-
say you were going to be nice tonight.
I know. That's why it's so difficult.
All right. So here's the cut version.
So let's talk about the Southern strategy, which is a political strategy that's embraced by the Republican Party, really beginning in the 1950s, but big time in the 1960s and all the way up through the 1980s, and some people would argue today, in order to gain white Southern votes and also white suburban votes in the North. So following Reconstruction, we could see right away the Republican Party, they have all these freed blacks that can vote for the Republican Party, but they're not going to focus on their issues. In fact, in 1868, 1968, when Grant ran, they only gave 5% of their war chest to Southern races. They weren't really interested in that. And in fact, as time goes on, they're going to give up on the South, and they're really just going to utilize the Republican Party of the South really for nominations for the president. Then they're going to concentrate in the North on getting votes. And that's going to allow those white Democrats to coalesce and control the South. That's called the solid South. All through these elections, as you're seeing me flip them on the board, or as you're seeing them in front of you right now, you can see that the Democratic Party always wins the South. They always win the South. We should also mention that this means the Republican Party, although they might be kind of taking for granted these African Americans who belong to the party of Lincoln, they're the ones that, for the most part, are supporting civil rights. Even when we get to the 1964 Civil Rights Act, it was more Republicans that supported that than Democrats. But something occurs, and it really happens in Texas in 1956. Now, remember, 1954 is a watershed year because that's Brown versus Board of Ed. That's going to wake up white Southerners to the idea that change is a-coming and you ain't going to like it, namely integration. So in 1956, something interesting happens, and it's a race in Texas, a congressional race based in Dallas. Bruce Alger was his name, and he had won in 1954 as a Republican in the South, but he was a moderate Republican. His stance on race was one of gradualism, like it's going to occur, let's work with the tides of change. And then he made a strategic change in 1956, and as a Republican, he ran as an avid segregationalist. And part of this wasn't because he had a change of heart, but was because there was a change in the community. And namely, this had to do with the First Baptist Church in Dallas, which was run by the guy by the name of W.A. Criswell. And this was a man.
Criswell.
Yeah, I think he probably recorded that wrong the first time and then clumsily tried to fix it.
And he believed that the Bible verified that we should be segregationalist, and the people in the communities ate this up. And this sends a message in Texas that this is the thing for the Republican Party to do. And then John Towers in 1961 becomes a senator all the way up to the 1980s in Texas, and he was an avid segregationalist as well. It worked for them. So now as we move into a national model, the Republican Party has probably taken notice that this worked in Texas. So first in 1964, LBJ is going to crush Barry Goldwater. Now, Barry Goldwater is not a racist, but Barry Goldwater is an
I think that's disputable.
avid ideologist, and he believes with all of his heart that states' rights is the way to go, that the Constitution should be read strictly, that we shouldn't have big government programs like Medicaid and Medicare, and we shouldn't have the federal government getting involved in elections and civil rights. That should be left to the people. Did I say not go for civil rights? I did. But that doesn't mean he was a racist. But in 1964, as you look at that map, Barry Goldwater gets crushed everywhere except for the Deep South. A Republican just won.
And Arizona.
On the Deep South. Got crushed everywhere else. But if there's a way, the Republican Party thinks to itself, to take advantage of this concept that his ideology got those racist votes and he wasn't racist, maybe we can come up with a strategy like that. And that's what Richard Nixon does in 1968, and he's pretty successful. Now, in 1968, as you look at that map, you can see that he doesn't win all of the South. We have George Wallace running as an independent. He's still a Democrat, but he is de-aligned, creating an independent party, and he is sucking votes away from Richard Nixon. This shows you that those white Southerners, they do not want to vote for a Republican if they can help it. But they're not going to vote for a pro-civil rights Democrat either. So the way to best summarize this is to actually listen to the words of some of these campaign managers and strategists that used this strategy, the Southern strategy. And one of them was Lee Atwater. And he was kind
What was messing up these names?
of the bulldog of the Republican Party. He's kind of the brain behind the operation. And you can hear him right now talking about the Southern strategy.
You start out in 1954 by saying nigger, nigger, nigger. By 1968, you can't say nigger. That hurts your backfire. So you say stuff like force busing, states' rights, and all that stuff. And you get so abstract now, you're talking about cutting taxes, and all of these things you're talking about are totally economic things, and the byproduct of them is blacks get hurt worse than white.
So when Richard Nixon is talking about the counterculture and how we need law and order To Archie Bunker in the North, that means we have to, make sure these kids aren't smoking dope on the street. But to that guy in Mobile, Alabama, who's a white Southerner, that means not letting these African Americans getting out of hand. He didn't have to be racist to say that, to appeal to the racist. So when Ronald Reagan says we need to go after the welfare queens, he didn't call out African American women in a racist way, really, but that's what white Southerners heard. At one point, it was said that Reagan was testing phrases, and when he referred to young black men on welfare, he at one time tried young bucks. That didn't work out very well. He changed it. You don't want to look like a racist. You don't want to sound like a racist. You probably aren't a racist, but you need those votes. And that's the idea of the Southern strategy.
And there you have it.
It's pretty interesting.
I mean, I guess I would dispute the idea. Anybody that would run for a party where you need the votes of people that are avid segregationists is probably a racist.
Yeah, that's why I would kind of. I mean,
or at the very least comfortable getting the votes of racists.
He also seems pretty comfortable saying that Goldwater was just blanketly not a racist. He almost makes it sound like Goldwater just stumbled into this,
oopsie daisy.
My states' rights rhetoric accidentally resonated with racists. No,
Yeah,
he had a
far-fetched.
concerted strategy of winning those votes.
Of course.
It was like the Dixie strategy or something along
Well,
those lines.
and anyone that spews that kind of line seems to win these areas. So,
right.
you know, what I mean, at some point you have to realize that hey, this is a fucking proven strategy that works at least in this time period.
So basically, it was it became kind of a game of okay, we can't come out and say overtly racist and racially charged things, but we have to say things that will appeal to people who think that way, because that's how you can win in the South.
Right.
So that's basically the Southern strategy, and you hear it got its start. It was kind of had its trial run in Texas where it did really well. So they kind of adopted some of that. They saw what Goldwater had done. They saw what these Texas politicians
They fucking
had
took
done.
the show on the road, dude.
And they said, hey, it's possible for us to win what we thought of as this Democratic stronghold that we wrote off. All we have to do is sell any sort of principles we might have had, upriver. And they were already hemorrhaging black voters at that point anyway.
So they did new base anyways.
And they were because they didn't want to do the whole civil rights thing because they're Republicans and their whole thing is we're about big business. We're about,
Right.
we want business and we want power and we want industry. Part of the reason they squashed this, I mean, obviously there was opposition to slavery, but part of the reason they squashed the South was because they didn't want the South to challenge their fucking oligarchy. So there's that, their kind of corporatist agenda or whatever the precursor that was, the industrialist fucking
the
agenda
land
or whatever
barons.
the fuck.
Yeah.
So, there's always been the party of big business. That hasn't really changed. So they weren't really looking to get in this civil rights fight, and they weren't really trying to win these Southern black voters because there's not enough black voters in the South to actually win the South.
Right.
So they didn't really do anything for them after they kind of, you're free, and now we don't want to hear about it anymore. You're on your own. So they lost those voters, no shit, and they didn't make any attempt to appeal to the South for a long time because they're just whatever, our base of power is in the North, and, it's dominant. But when they started to lose that dominance, they're like,
gotta do something
can
else.
we win the South? And so, they decided, all right, let's try, and they did.
So basically, what I'm getting here.
More people started moving to the South as well.
Yes.
So racism wins the South is the operative basic idea here.
Yeah, especially
dog whistling it now because you can't openly say it.
Right.
But you just, oh yeah, I want to cut the taxes on these social programs too.
Right.
Yeah, you're a fiscal conservative.
Right.
Enough of these welfare queen, that kind of thing.
Right.
So
Okay.
basically, it's so the white people in
Well,
the South are
look what they do
"Oh."
now. A big talking point you'll watch Fox News or other conservative sites is look what they're doing to our cities. Los Angeles is just a dump. San Francisco, heroin needles and shit litter the ground.
We got to get out of this place. We
So-
got to get out of the South.
Nah, Paul. We're gonna move even deeper into the South, the heart of the South.
I don't think you get much deeper than we are.
We gotta move into the very center of the South. Wherever that is, that's where we're moving.
Like just a raft in the middle of the Gulf.
So let's inject a little bit more nuance into this still. This is an article from a woman named Angie Maxwell who actually wrote a book called The Long Southern Strategy. And this is an article called What We Get Wrong About the Southern Strategy.
Okay.
And the main thing people get wrong about it, well, I'll let it speak for itself here. We've kind of already gone over a lot of this initial stuff about Goldwater and Nixon and stuff like that. This oversimplified version of the Southern strategy has a number of problems. It overstates how quickly party change occurred, limits the strategy solely to racial appeals, ignores how it evolved, and distorts our understanding of politics today. In reality, the South swung back and forth in presidential elections for 4 decades following 1964. Moreover, Republicans didn't win the South solely by capitalizing on white racial angst. The decision was but one in a series of decisions that the party made not just on race, but on feminism and religion as well. The GOP successfully fused ideas about the role of government in the economy, women's place in society, white evangelical Christianity, and white racial grievance in what became a long Southern strategy that extends well past the days of Goldwater and Nixon. Over the course of 40 years, Republicans fine-tuned their pitch and won the allegiance of Southern whites and their sympathizers nationwide by remaking their party in the Southern white image. Goldwater's campaign did launch the Southern strategy, originally called Operation Dixie, that was the phrase I was looking for, by directly and aggressively championing his vote against the 1964 Civil Rights Act. As a result, the senator won 5 deep South states, including 87% of the vote in Mississippi. But this blunt appeal may have done more harm than good because, other than his native Arizona, these were the only states Goldwater won. 4 years later, understanding the risk of such an overt campaign against civil rights, Nixon's team instead coded their racial appeals. The silent, we know about this stuff because we kind of went into that too.
Yeah.
The strategy worked, but only temporarily. Nixon did not lock the region down permanently for Republicans, as the traditional Southern strategy narrative asserts. Instead, in 1976, Jimmy Carter, a white, born-again Southern Baptist peanut farmer, recaptured the region for Democrats. While white Southerners were attracted to the GOP's new racially coded message, Carter had a trump card with these voters. He was authentically one of them. To overcome this identity-based appeal, Republicans needed to resurrect old threats and manufacture new ones. They did both. During his 1980 presidential bid, Ronald Reagan expanded Nixon's racial code to colorblind appeals for economic justice. He encouraged Americans to move past race, but also invoked the image of the welfare queen, a black woman who Reagan described as having 80 names, 30 addresses, 12 Social Security cards, resulting in a tax-free income of $150,000 a year.
Damn.
It's pretty clever, if you ask me. In doing so, he portrayed racial minorities as undeserving takers while erasing the institutional racism at the heart of economic inequality. The message to Southern white voters was both that African Americans were to blame for their own standing in society and that government programs aimed at alleviating racial inequality would disadvantage white Americans. The GOP also pounced on another emerging wedge issue, provoking anxiety amongst white Southerners. The equal rights, both Republicans and Democrats had long supported the Equal Rights Amendment. The 1977 National Women's Conference in Houston, organized to push for ratification, featured former Republican First Lady Betty Ford and Democratic First Lady Rosalind Carter. But bipartisanship couldn't shield the ERA from a growing backlash on the right, driven by Phyllis Schlafly's organization, Stop ERA, which stood for Stop Taking Our Privileges. Schlafly misleadingly and ominously insisted that the ERA would force women to put their newborns in government-run daycare, serve on the front lines of combat, embrace lesbianism, and enter the workplace.
Shit. Hell of a fucking act, dude.
Whoa. Embrace lesbians.
Whoa, I mean,
damn.
maybe this act should have passed.
And more just indiscriminately of all, enter the workplace.
Well, definitely not that. Ooh.
Scary
We dodged
stuff.
a bullet with that one.
Portrayal resonated deeply with female voters, trying to live up to the ideals of Southern white womanhood. So basically, the gist of this is, this wasn't all just done along racial lines. They mixed in some social conservative gender politics points. They threw the abortion shit in there. They threw the gun shit in there.
Well, think about when they talk about traditional values, like we don't have a traditional family, traditional home.
But basically, the Republican Party started tailoring its message towards the mentality of Southern whites.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
like across the board.
That's why they love guns so much.
These are our people.
Like, look, here's me. I'm a politician. I'm shooting a gun. I'm gonna protect your gun rights. It's just it's just basically codifying a way of life and saying the way that you live your life is the right way.
This is the right way to live.
And
this
you're
is
doing
the right
it,
way to be.
and I'm that way.
And that's the way of life that our party is going to stand for and defend. Well, that's the way of life our party is going to pretend to stand for and defend.
Yeah, well, yeah, more accurately.
So that we can fucking, give a lot of fucking big breaks to our big business pals.
who we actually genuinely
who are our
care about.
actual
Yeah.
constituency. You're just the dupes we get to vote for us. That's basically how it broke down.
This depresses me.
It should. And that's pretty much the nature of the beast. That's how it all went down. Obviously, with a discussion as complex as this, there's a fuckload of nuance. Nothing's simple. Nothing's cut and dry.
Of course.
It's not like a simple, this is the cause, this is the effect.
Yeah, on this day, this all shit
Right.
changed. Yeah.
There's a huge chain of causes creating endless ripples of effects, which then themselves become causes. And who knows how all the ripples of cause and effect interact with each other. Human brains probably not equipped to even figure that out. We don't see every effect. We don't see every cause. We don't know every interaction between each cause and each effect. But here's what we do know at the end of the day. The party that freed black people from oppression cannot win black votes anymore. And now they're the beloved party of the white Southerners that they once squashed. And the party that once dominated the South during the Civil War era is now despised in the South. But now they enjoy steadfast loyalty from the black people that they once fought to enslave. So no amount of tap dancing can change those facts. How the party switched happened might be debatable to some extent, but that it happened, I think, is pretty much indisputable. Only idiots like Dinesh D'Souza have the temerity to say otherwise, and they're not honest
It's the
actors.
same thing.
They're fucking hacks. They're propagandists. They're cherry-picking data to support their conclusions. The conclusion that the parties have made this switch is inescapable. There's no real way to argue it. Just the basic facts of the case that you can see the South went from Democrat to Republican. Blacks went from Republican to Democrat. That happened. You can't deny it. There's no avoiding it. There's no sidestepping it. There's no tap dancing around it. It's there. It happened. The party switch is a real fucking thing.
And you see why this episode just further reinforces my belief that I don't ascribe to any political party. I look at what the issues are and what is the best thing in our reality and try to make the best, most rational decision based upon the available evidence, not like these party lines. Because look, these parties switched. That just shows you how fucking paper thin these parties. They're just ideas. They don't really represent anything except what people put into them.
They don't even represent that anymore. Like that's why I don't participate at all in the process. Is because if anything, this episode taught me just how malleable that whole fucking image is.
Completely.
And if it needs to switch again, it'll switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second that
it's more beneficial.
The second the Republicans say to themselves, like, we're going to try to make the West Coast our new stronghold. They're going to say all kinds of shit to appeal to those people.
And they go, yeah, you know what made the Republicans ain't so bad.
The second the Democrats need to, identity politics ain't working for us anymore. Let's go back and see if we can get these Southerners back on our side. They'll be back here like, we love your guns and whatever the fuck they need to say. So both these parties, they're just fighting for constituents. There's not any sort of underlying principle beneath them.
Well, people in this country love demagogues. You know that. They just want to be told what they already fucking believe. So all these politicians have to do is this. What do people around here believe? I believe all the same shit. Vote for me.
Well, there is a guiding principle behind both of the parties. It's just
keep and expand power.
Right. Make more money. That seems to be at the root of that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So,
until that changes, parties ain't going to change, will they?
Nope. No sirree, Bob, they will not. So that's pretty much it. I don't know. Any final thoughts from either of y'all?
I mean, what can you really say? I mean, it's just kind of like confirming your worst fears about the political state of America.
What did you think about it? Like, what's your impression of the overall story of how this shit happened?
I mean, it's just showing how human nature and how fatally flawed we are with the information we receive and the people around us, and how we're just kind of doomed to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. I mean, you might be able to change the players and the scenes, but fundamentally, the human story seems to play out the same way.
Yeah, I was just kind of confirmed in my suspicion, my strong suspicion, that this entire political process is a giant piece of theater. And probably not one worth sitting and watching anymore. It's a total joke. And people so fucking, like, I don't know, people vehemently defend it like it's actually something that matters anymore when clearly it doesn't.
Well, it gives people an element of control. If they don't think they have that control, then they freak out. But saying, I have this vote...
Well, let me ask you this, then.
I want
that
people to freak out, though. People need to freak out.
They should. I agree with you 100%. People are way too complacent, way too accepting of things as they are.
Let me ask you this. If the political parties were not political theater, how would you have expected this to play out differently?
I don't even think you can do that.
This wouldn't have been effective.
Right.
It would have been seen as pandering.
I mean, I don't know, dude. That's a hard question
If politicians
to answer.
represented people, they would talk about issues that normal people care about. And they don't. For a lot of times, like maybe there's like the Bernie Sanders of the world, and there's people like that.
Well, people do talk about the issues people care about. They just don't do anything about them when they get to office, or they do just enough to justify their having
look
been
at
there.
that. But
Like I did this.
But a lot of times, the way they talk about it is not even correct. They misrepresent what the majority of people think. And I mean, sure, you can say statistics are lies, or the sample size, or the way they ask the question. But like, if you talk to most people in this country, it's about trying to get by and live their life and survive and make it. That's what I usually hear from most people.
Right.
And that's what people care about. They care about their well-being and the well-being of those that they love and care about.
Well, clearly, they also care about racial issues and abortion, and I don't know. Like, I just don't understand how that gets translated into wanting to affect the rest of the fucking world. I guess religion is the lube that allows that political idea to become something that can't just be regional. Like, what happened to states' rights when it comes to shit like that?
Well, that's gone.
States' rights. Honestly, the states' rights thing is something that you can easily notice both sides adopting and dismissing at their leisure.
Legal weed, states' rights. Abortion, fuck states' rights.
Right. So it's like, that kind of just comes and goes depending on the issue and the needs of the moment and the needs of the party. There's no actual consistent, like, we're consistently for states' rights.
It's like further cementing that this is like a giant house of cards with nothing holding it up at the foundation.
It's just two giant parties competing to see who can dupe the most people into giving them power.
Right.
But ultimately, they're
then
both
exploiting
They're
that
both
power.
going to keep their power.
Right.
Yeah, at the end of the day, then they go behind the room like, I won this round.
I mean, let's think about this. Let's go back to that map for just 1 second here and just talk about this for a second. I mean, there have been times when it seems like, wow, look how fucking strong the Democrats are. They're fucking completely dominant. They got this locked down now. We ain't going to see a Republican in power for a while. Oh, shit. Looks like the Republicans are fucking in power. They're a fucking force to be reckoned with. Can't fuck with no Republicans. And right now we're just kind of in one of these wishy-washy, kind of like half and half sort of periods of history that looks like it's gone on for quite a while now. But I have no doubt that one party or the other will gain the upper hand again, and people think, oh, it's this Republican era and the Democrats are through and finished, but then they'll come back and it'll be their time again. And, it's just going to be back and forth like a fucking
all
ping
part
pong
of the
ball.
illusion of choice.
Right. So really, we're not talking about two parties competing for power. We're talking about two parties working in tandem to keep and maintain power between the two of themselves.
Either way you look at it, no matter how big or small these parties are, and whoever has the majority, they're still working together. So they still hold all the fucking cards, and the companies behind them hold the ones fucking yanking their chains.
I mean, the corporations are going to get rich no matter which way the wind blows in these elections. They know that.
Of course. These companies are still making a ton of money. They're not fucking going, oh shit, we're fucking paupers now. Amazon, record profits. Amazon didn't lose money because Trump was president.
Nor would they lose money if a Democrat.
Yeah, if
gets
Hillary
in.
was president, they'd be making money the same.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Well, there you go. That's a show, right?
Yep, that's the show. Thank you guys for tuning in.
What a depressing episode.
We appreciate you.
It was.
Bye. Hope you're all thoroughly depressed as Scotty and Paul are now.
Yeah.
And have a good one. Vote for me.